So today's Sunday, and normally I do my videos in my house, but everyone is sleeping, and I didn't want to miss showing up because I promised myself that I would show up for every day for 90 days. And today is day 11. Now, last week, Saturday and Sunday, I had a little bit of problems, and I had to pivot and put into place a strategy. And I did. And it worked beautifully yesterday. Yesterday I came, I did my video, I did my meditation, my journaling, did some inner work, learned something new business-wise, and it was perfect. Today, I got up with good intentions, and I did go for a walk, by the way. I walked for, according to my app, an hour and 6 minutes. I burned over 418 calories, which is kind of cool. I did over 10,000 steps, which is nice for a Sunday, right? Yesterday I did full body, or the upper body. I actually put the video down there. I actually uploaded the video rather. And it was good. But I did not want to pass a day. I promised myself every day, so here I am. I'm just going to talk to you about what I observed about myself last week. What came to mind, not what came to mind, what I became aware of was that I have to put better strategies into place when it comes to eating. It's meal planning, and the thing is that I have meal plans that I give my clients. So I'm going to start utilizing the meal plans for myself as well because they really, really, really work. Right? I'll also notice that I would eat too many grapes. Yeah, grapes. Red, seedless grapes. And I'm going to tell you a secret, guys. I did not gain weight on junk food because on September 13, 2024, I let go of cookies, cakes, candies, ice cream, chips, you name it. I let go of most processed foods, or processed foods at that time actually. I let go of pizza because I let go of bread, right? And flour. So no pizza. I very rarely eat out. I do eat every so often a Wendy's hamburger without the bread because I don't eat flour. And I lost 65 pounds. Then I started to eat more fruits, predominantly grapes, red grapes. And not only do you know, grapes have high fructose, which is not the best sugar. It has a lot of sugar too. And then lately, actually last week, I was being really aware of the foods I would eat and the sensations that it would elicit in my body. And I realized that the grapes were really, really sweet. It was almost like eating sugar. And there you have it. Grapes. The sugar and grapes. Sugar sneaked in to my life. Or rather, I allowed it to sneak in. Now, I was eating strawberries, and I don't know if you know, strawberries are low in sugar. And so are blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, right? The berry family. But grapes are not low in sugar. Grapes are really sweet, especially red grapes are really sweet, and they have high fructose. So, my friends, sugar snuck back in, and this is what I became aware of last week. And I was like, you try to put things in place, and then somehow or another, you take some sort of action, and it sneaks in some way, shape, or form. So I did the next best thing, and that was I stopped buying grapes and I stopped eating grapes. I stopped this weekend, and yeah, I'm happy to say I won't be eating grapes again. But it's not really the grapes. It's just the habit of eating certain foods in large quantities. So it's not the grapes per se, it's the act of eating a whole bunch of grapes. Whole bunch of grapes. And then sometime at the beginning of this year, I was doing a little Uber Eats on the side. And when I was driving, I would eat grapes. I would go to the supermarket, I would get grapes and cheese and water. So I wouldn't spend money on foods that I don't eat. Like I don't eat fried foods, I don't eat junk food, right? So grapes and cheese was my go-to, and water. Yep. So grapes, my friends. It goes to show you that sometimes you have certain patterns that sneak in and that you aren't aware of. For instance, for me, grapes are healthy. They're fruits, right? But luckily, because I started this journey again, and now I am working from the inside out, and I'm looking at my habits, and I'm looking at the driver behind the habits, the driver behind the behaviors, the thoughts, the feelings that create the actions that in turn creates the results. So I'm very excited. I'm very happy with the fact that I became more aware of this. And so it was twofold, right? It was the sugar and the grapes, and it was the act of eating a lot, of overeating in one sitting, or rather in this case, 3 sittings. And then that 3 sittings goes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then it opened up my appetite for snacks. And when I want to eat something, I would eat grapes. Just want you to know, when you on a journey of healing and changing these habits and being super aware of what drives you, it changes the game. Right? It's no longer about, I already gave up a lot of food, a lot of things. Happily so. You have absolutely no clue how is it whenever I think about a candy bar or something, how happy I am that I don't eat those foods. Elated beyond measure. But I allowed old habits to sneak in, and now I am becoming more aware of that, and I'm looking for the root cause of these things so that I can transform them, create a new identity with feelings and thoughts, behaviors, and actions so that I can manifest the results that I want, which is in my case is keeping the weight off. Losing weight is my expertise, my friends. That is never the problem. It's just old behaviors that come up, old patterns that show up, that sneak in, that I let into my door, right? Let it get one little foothold, and boom, it just kept on building and building and building and building. So now I'm working really on the inner portion of myself, on my thoughts, on my behaviors, on the automatic behaviors and the habits and routines I've created, and nipping it there so that I can have long-lasting transformation. And I'm taking notes, guys. I am journaling this. I am becoming super aware of this, because when I get it, I'm going to teach it to my clients. So for those clients that I help in losing weight, for those clients that follow what I tell them to do and lose weight, I'm going to help you keep the weight off. Because it makes no sense to lose weight and then to have to go through it over and over again because the weight was gained, right? I lost weight once and I kept it off for close to 8 years. Had my daughter, lost it immediately. And then I let my identity change. I'm serious. When you identify with something and it just sneaks in there. Anyway, I did want to share today's day 11, quick grapes. And now I'm working on creating the habits that are going to sustain me patterns resurface so that I can nip it in the bud before it gets a foothold and then I find myself again. This is the last time. I'm keeping the weight off, and I am going to teach my clients to do the same. Anyway, welcome to day 11 in the books. Super excited.